when a family member dies. Transferring a vehicle can feel like one more complicated task during an already difficult time. A single missed requirement, such as filing too early, using the wrong estate value, or entering a name differently from the death certificate, can cause the California DMV to delay or reject the transfer. In this video, we will walk through California DMV Form REG 5, the Affidavit for Transfer Without Probate for a California title vehicle or vessel. You will learn when this form may be used, who may sign it, how to complete every field, what document to gather, and what to check before submitting the title transfer package. This guide is based on the current California DMV Reg 5, revision December 2024, and official DMV title transfer guidance available when this presentation was prepared. It is general educational information, not legal advice. Estate facts can be complex, and the DMV makes a final decision on whether a transaction is acceptable. One especially important point is that Reg 5 itself does not contain a notarial certificate. It is a declaration signed under penalty of perjury and is not ordinarily notarized. If another document in your package separately requires notarization, confirm that requirement and the receiving agency's acceptance rules before arranging a notary session. When can you use Reg 5? Reg 5 is designed for a limited transfer situation. It may be used to transfer a California title vehicle or vessel after the registered owner or legal owner, who is an individual, has died, when the transfer can legally proceed without probate. This is not a general replacement title form, a bill of sale, or an all-purpose estate affidavit. Begin by confirming that the vehicle or vessel is actually titled in California. The California DMV Procedures Manual states that Reg 5 cannot be used for a vehicle not titled in California. If the title is from another state, that state's title and estate transfer procedures generally control first. Next, check the timing. At least 40 days must have elapsed since the owner's date of death before this affidavit route can be accepted. Count carefully from the date shown on the death certificate. Do not treat the date of the funeral, the date you received the certificate, or the date you discovered the vehicle as the starting point. Also confirm that no probate proceeding is currently being conducted or has already been conducted for the estate under the facts certified on the form. The affidavit also includes statements about other property, unsecured creditors, estate value, and the signer's right to the vehicle. If any statement is uncertain or untrue, pause and ask the DMV or a qualified California probate professional which procedure applies. Know who may complete Reg 5. The person signing Reg 5 must have a legally superior right to the vehicle or vessel. The form identifies several possible categories. The first is the sole person or all persons who succeeded to the decedent's property under California intestate succession law when there was no will. It also includes the beneficiary or beneficiaries who succeeded to the vehicle or vessel under the decedent's will. A will does not automatically mean Reg 5 is appropriate in every case. The other eligibility statements still must be true. The second category is a trustee acting for a trust established by the decedent. The third category is a conservator or guardian of the estate of the sole person or persons who succeeded to the property. These are legal roles, not informal descriptions. Being a relative, possessing the keys, paying registration expenses, or being named as an emergency contact does not by itself establish the right to sign. Joint ownership also needs careful review. Words such as and/or, joint tenants with right of survivorship, or a transfer on death beneficiary designation can change required title endorsements and supporting documents. Reg 5 cannot be used simply to bypass the rights of a surviving owner. Before completing the affidavit, inspect the exact owner names and connectors printed on the California title, and compare them with the DMV's current joint owner and transfer on death instructions. Gather the transfer documents first. Before writing on the form, create a clean document set. Start with the California Certificate of Title or another reliable DMV record for the vehicle or vessel. You will use it to copy the vehicle identification number or hull identification number, the license plate or vessel CF number, the year, and the make or builder. Do not rely on memory or copy information from an insurance card without comparing it to the title record. You also need a copy of the death certificate. Reg 5 expressly says that a copy is required. Use it to verify the decedent's full legal name, date of death, and place of death. If the title uses a former name, an abbreviated name, or a spelling that differs from the death certificate, Do not guess how to reconcile the discrepancy. Contact the DMV for the documentation it wants. Next, gather the documents that support the signer's entitlement. Depending on the facts, that may include the will, trust information, guardianship, or conservatorship documentation, and records showing how ownership passes. Review the estate's creditor status and calculate the relevant estate value using the rules referenced by the form. Finally, check the complete transfer package. Reg 5 is normally submitted with other items, such as a properly endorsed California title, the transfer fee, the death certificate copy, and any additional form the DMV requires for a particular transaction. Confirm the current checklist before mailing or visiting an office. Section 1. Identify the property. At the top of Section 1, identify the exact vehicle or vessel being transferred. In the first box, enter the complete vehicle identification number, commonly called the VIN, or the hull identification number for a vessel. Copy every character slowly. VINs can contain similar-looking letters and numbers, and one incorrect character can associate the affidavit with the wrong record. In the next field, enter the vehicle license plate number or the vessel CF number. Use the current record and include the complete number. Then enter the year of the vehicle or vessel. Use the model year shown on the title rather than the purchase year or the year the person began using it. In the final identification field, enter the make of the vehicle or the builder of the vessel exactly as recorded. After entering the information, compare the form with the title character by character. Make sure you have not switched the VIN and plate fields, omitted a digit, or copied a license plate belonging to a different vehicle in the household. Avoid correction fluid, heavy crossouts, or cramped overwriting. If an entry becomes hard to read, download a clean current form and start again. This affidavit applies only to the specifically described property, so accurate identification is not a minor detail. It is a foundation of the transfer request. Section 1. Enter decedent details. The next sentence in Section 1 identifies a deceased owner. Enter the decedent's full legal name in the name of decedent space. The safest approach is to match the death certificate, while also checking the name shown on the California title. Include a middle name, initial, or suffix when it appears in the official record. Do not enter the heir's name or the person who will receive the new title in this blank. Next, enter the date of death. Use a clear month, day, and year format, and verify the date directly from the death certificate. This date determines whether the required 40-day waiting period has passed. Then enter the place of death, specifically the city and state requested on the form. Do not substitute the county, hospital name, funeral home, or the decedent's former residence unless that is actually the city and state of death shown by the record. After completing these fields, stop and test the 40-day requirement. If fewer than 40 days have elapsed, do not sign and submit the form early in the hope that the DMV will process it later. Wait until the statutory period has passed. Attach a clear copy of the death certificate to the eventual transfer package. If the death occurred outside the United States or the certificate is non-English, contact the DMV in advance to ask what certified copy, translation, or authentication it requires. Do not assume that a self-prepared translation will automatically be accepted. Review every certification before signing. Much of Reg 5 consists of legal statements already printed on the page. You are not merely confirming the vehicle information. You are certifying that each applicable statement is true. First, the form states that the decedent left no other property necessitating probate, and that no probate proceeding is now being, or has been, conducted in California for the estate. If a probate case has been opened, even if it seems inactive, verify the correct procedure before using this affidavit. Second, the form addresses unsecured creditors. It states that there are no unsecured creditors, or that any such creditors have been paid in full, or their claims have otherwise been discharged. Do not confuse unsecured creditors with a lien holder listed specifically on the vehicle title. If you do not know the estate's creditor status, obtain reliable information before signing. Third, the form confirms that at least 40 days have elapsed since death. Fourth, it certifies that the estate's current gross fair market value in California does not exceed the applicable printed limit after the statutory exclusions referenced on the form. Finally, it states that no other person has a superior right to the vehicle or vessel, and that the signer falls within one of the qualifying categories. Section 3 says the information is certified or declared under penalty of perjury under California law. Treat every sentence as a serious factual statement, not as routine boilerplate. Estate value and special situations. The current Reg 5 prints two different estate value limits based on the date of death. If the decedent died before April 1st, 2022, the printed maximum is $166,250. If the decedent died on or after April 1st, 2022, the printed maximum is $184,500. Use the amount printed on the current official form and apply the exclusions referenced in California Probate Code sections 13050 and 13051. Do not use an old online article or an older blank form if it shows a different amount. Calculating estate value can be more complicated than adding account balances. The affidavit refers to the current gross fair market value of the decedent's real and personal property in California after particular statutory exclusions. The value of the vehicle or vessel and other property may be treated according to those statutes. If the estate is close to the threshold, includes real property, has contested ownership, or involves property in more than one state, consider obtaining legal advice rather than estimating. Special title situations also require extra care. A surviving co-owner may have rights determined by the connector between names and the ownership designation. A transfer on death beneficiary follows a different DMV procedure. A lien holder's interest may need to be addressed, and a missing title may require an additional application. If the facts do not fit the words printed on Reg 5, do not alter the affidavit or force the transaction into this process. Ask the DMV which documents apply. Assemble and submit the transfer package. Once you have verified eligibility, complete the contact and signature area in Section 3. Print the signer's true full name. Enter a reliable telephone number or email address so the DMV can contact the signer if it needs clarification. Sign on the signature line and enter the date signed. The form says only one date and signature are needed, even though it provides additional lines. If multiple successors are involved, confer with the DMV how it wants entitlement and title endorsements documented. Before submission, assemble the entire transaction rather than sending Reg 5 alone. The California DMV's title transfer guidance generally calls for a properly endorsed California certificate of title, the death certificate copy, applicable fees, and any other forms required by the exact circumstances. If the title is missing, a replacement title procedure may also be necessary. If there's a lien, joint ownership, a trust, a beneficiary designation, or a court appointment, additional documentation may apply. Use the submission method and address shown in the latest California DMV instructions. Procedures, fees, addresses, and appointment options can change, so verify them immediately before filing. Keep a complete copy of everything you submit, including the signed affidavit, title images, death certificate copy, payment evidence, and any correspondence. Never mail original documents unless the DMV specifically requires the original for that item. Final Reg 5 checklist. Before you finish, run one final check. Confirm that the vehicle or vessel is titled in California. Confirm at least 40 days have passed since death. Verify that the probate, creditor, estate value, and entitlement statements are all true. Compare the VIN or HIN, plate or CF number, year, and make or builder with the title. Match the decedent's name, date of death, and place of death to the death certificate. Print the signer's true full name. Provide a current telephone number or email address, sign, and date the form. Then confirm that the death certificate copy, endorsed title, fees, and every other required document are included. Remember, Reg 5 itself is a declaration under penalty of perjury and does not ordinarily require notarization. Do not add a notary block unless the DMV or another authorized recipient specifically instructs you to provide a separate notarized document. If your transfer package includes a different affidavit, authorization, certified copy statement, or supporting document that genuinely requires notarization, Notary 20 can help with convenient remote online notarization for only $20 per document. Visit notary20.com, upload the document, and confirm that the receiving agency accepts remote online notarization and electronic documents. Thank you for watching, and take a moment to verify every requirement before submitting your California DMV transfer package.